Welcome back. We do have fresh beans now. I was going to tell you in a previous video how to make perfect espresso. Realized I didn't have fresh beans, and when you don't have fresh beans, none of it matters. So we have fresh beans, and we'll open up the bag and make sure we seal it after we use it. We'll weigh out 17, 18 grams of beans. I'll start with some of these that I had left over. Zero out the scale. And scoop about 18 grams in there. Usually I go about 18.6, just in case it doesn't come out to 18 grams. That way I always can get the 18 grams. Right now that's 19.1, so I'll just dump out a couple of beans. 18.7. Okay, so we'll start with that, and then with the grinder, we do have 60 millimeter flat burrs, and I have this set on 2 right now. The where the burrs touch is right about down there, so 2 is working for an espresso grind right now. So let's throw those in, grind them. It's going to take 14 seconds of noise. And then I just open the chute and close the chute so they don't popcorn back out. And whatever comes out, comes out. We'll weigh it when it finishes in about 3, 2, 1. And then it's over. I don't bang the machine because I don't want to chip off any paint into my catcher. And we're sitting at 18.6, so that's good. I might have a little spillage. I see that I didn't close my bag of beans, so I'm going to do that now because you want to keep this fresh all the time. Very important. All right. So dumping into the portafilter, it's a little damp from a previous shot, so I'll just make sure that I dry that out. And the beans in the catcher, I will bang and roll a little bit so that they're not clumped up. And then I can just dump them in here. So what I do is, if you see in there, it starts out a little clumpy, and then I'll just bang and roll a couple of times. And then what we're doing is we're getting the grinds to not stick to each other, so they'll just jump out of the catcher. Dump them in, make sure I got everything. Do the leveler, and then the tamp. And as you can see, a couple spilled out. I'm going to just brush the rim right now so that doesn't get caught up inside the portafilter lock. And on this machine, up inside the portafilter, I have the silicone. You can see some extra grinds are stuck to the edge of that. So the 18.6 is probably about 18 now anyway. I'll just take that off while this is attached. I'm going to just tamp this down once. One good firm push. And it's going to stop at that lip anyway, and that'll take care of it. I just make sure that there's no grinds on this edge so they don't get in the way of sealing up inside the portafilter lock. And then with that silicone grommet up there, it's a lot easier to get a good seal. I also have the IMS screen, a shower screen, and IMS basket for 18 grams. Now we'll take our scale, put it in here, put our cup in, and zero out the scale. And since we're starting about 18 grams, we want to end up with about 36 grams of liquid. And I have a dimmer on my pump so I can turn down the flow. I'll let it come in and pre-fuse a little bit, and then I'll go up to about 6 bar of pressure, and then gradually taper off. All right, so I'm going to just keep it low right now, below 2 bar, and I'm going to look and see if you can see anything permeating out of the basket on the bottom. I don't know if you can bend down and see that. Yeah, so it's starting to come out now, so I'm going to turn it up. And you can see on the pressure gauge, I'm up to 6 bar right now, and that's where I find it good. You can see how it's coming out. I'm watching the weight. It's 22 grams, 32, and I turned it off at 32. I'll end up with about 34, 33.6. So close enough. If I get between that 34 and 36, That's going to be nice. It's going to be sweet. And you can see the crema that comes out like that. And I'm going to give this a sniff. I'm going to bring it over. And I can smell some like chocolates and sweetness in there. And I know it's going to be good. So now if I were to steam milk, I'm not going to, but I'm going to put this machine on steam. And now the heat will heat up to 140 to 145 is where I have it set. I do have a 9-degree offset, so that 140 to 145 is really 149 to 154 Celsius. And having the steam that hot gives me plenty of steam power to create a nice frothing to make steamy milk. Of course, you would have to flush that first to get that out. But I do have some nice constant steam. But the reason that I turned that on, even though I'm not going to froth milk for this one, is to show you by heating that up and after dumping out this puck, you can see the puck comes out good. I'm going to just dump this in here, show you how that comes out. That comes right out, and it's this pretty solid puck. We'll focus on that later. But the whole point is, now that this machine was heated up to 150, it's coming down now 127, but there's still steam in the boiler. So I'm going to just push it through the shower screen. And you can see all that steam that comes out right now. So that's a good flush of the shower screen. But you can just run it to cool it down if you need to until the steam stops coming out. So you can hear the steam, and then eventually it'll stop right there. And then you just hear the noise of the pump. And so now I can just take this and wash off that shower screen. And you know, there's always a residue on there, and if you don't clean that off every day, that's going to affect the taste of your espresso also. So that's how you make a perfect espresso with this highly modified Gaggia machine that has the dimmer for the flow and the PID for the temperature and the gauge to see what you're doing. That's it.